So now that we got how we met, we got how Dorm Debate was started. There's still a big gap between us like starting TikTok, Instagram.
Because that was in 2018.
That was in 2018.
It was, yeah.
Yeah,
Sophomore year.
Yeah, 2018.
Sophomore year of college was when Dorm Debate the seed was planted, but it wasn't.
It was
until,
started. We didn't take it as serious. I mean, we did it. I think we did about 6 episodes total. So we would try to do it on Thursdays. Some days we'd miss it. Some like
Some of
Caleb
us
or
wouldn't be
Jonathan
there.
would miss.
Yeah.
So eventually we did it for the Super Bowl, and then we did it for the NFL draft in that year, and then that was the last episode. And then we did it maybe once or twice. So basically, John, you went in co-op. Us 3 roomed together, and that was John's last year. And then the next semester, I roomed with John and Nate. So like it was tough because we all 4 were never really together.
Right.
You
Yeah.
came back for that next semester in
the spring
2019.
in the spring of junior year, you came back from co-op, and you
Right.
weren't living with us, but we started to hang out, because you're back. But you weren't. I guess while you were gone, we weren't.
Didn't do Dorm Debate at all.
We didn't because it wasn't. We weren't even thinking like for followers or views. Like we just did it for us
Debating,
to keep each
really.
other accountable.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And
So
there
that-
wasn't as much of that.
If we're not seeing each other, there was a need for it. So we weren't like as a business or anything. Just like and it's not the same just filling it in.
Right.
So it wasn't till I think you came back for spring, junior year that.
Yeah, and it was playoff time. So it was like
Did
from
we do
January or
podcast?
February.
We did do a podcast.
We did the
forgot that.
AFC NFC championship, and then we did like a Super Bowl one.
Where did we record that?
That was up in my room, up in the
I think it was Jared's
I
room.
don't
where the
remember that.
stairs go up at Park Point.
Oh.
So I think we recorded 2 more episodes.
It wasn't
like,
a lot, but I think if
I
we
think-
did, it wasn't. We did it once you got back. I think. I don't know if I was there. Was I?
I
We'll have
think
to
you
pull
were.
up. We'll have
Yeah,
to
you
pull up
were.
the video. Yeah.
But I think it
It
was
was towards the end. It wasn't. 'Cause spring is already like toward the playoffs.
Yeah,
There
you
wasn't
only get,
much
like,
to
a couple
discuss.
weeks.
Yeah. I think we're still doing fantasy though. Right.
Still doing fantasy. Yeah, that was still a big thing.
Yes, that's how we stayed in touch as well. Is
True.
that stuff? Yeah.
But the main like episodes in the beginning were all at Global, and then we maybe did 2 or 3 at Park Point.
There's a hiatus.
And then
of
that was
another
it.
year, Yeah.
So we basically just stopped. I didn't think of Dorm Debate as like a brand or
Yeah.
anything. It was just like,
Definitely
oh,
not.
we're all gonna hang out and talk about football.
Yeah.
So let's just like record it,
And-
just for like memories. Like it wasn't to be like, oh, we need content.
No,
was
it
just,
was
let's-
never like that drive. Me and Jared were always more like the graphic design, like editing, making videos. Like we made YouTube videos and stuff at Park Point. That was like
That was
the
our,
creative outlet, like the March Madness video.
Madness, yeah.
But we weren't doing Dorm Debate because all 4 of us weren't there. Plus, it was your last year, Jonathan. So senior year, you have a lot of stuff. Looking for work, like real work. So we weren't even thinking of Dorm Debate as like a job.
No,
Potentially
No,
in any
not
avenue.
even close.
So like to make content wasn't really. I think that's junior year was when I had my mid college crisis. So I was like going all in on just creating stuff.
I remember that. Yeah.
And but that surprisingly in hindsight didn't bleed into like a push for Dorm Debate until I just remember calling Jared and saying like, yo, we should, with the pandemic in 2020, I don't know if I'm jumping too far ahead, but I was like, I remember calling you being like, yo, let's do this for
Wait,
real.
so from 2019, when the Super Bowl happened, and that's when the Patriots beat the Rams, we didn't do anything for a whole year?
I don't think so.
Nothing.
A whole year we just didn't do anything?
I'll look at well, did we even
we didn't do a single thing.
it
So
would
that
be
was
on
the
your
last
channel.
episode.
Crazy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I'll
we
look
could
it up.
double
I'm curious.
check, but like
yeah, it would
we
be on
didn't
your
do-
channel.
we didn't do anything because we were never together because
Right.
Jonathan left that year.
And then
It's done.
Caleb, you weren't, and then in the fall, we were living
We
together.
roomed with
Yeah, so
somebody
we
else,
literally
so-
didn't do anything.
Yeah, so we basically had,
We still did fantasy, but that was it.
Yeah, about 7 or 8 videos on the channel, and yeah, we're checking. it
Yeah,
out.
I'm looking at Jared. It was on
There it
your.
is. So AFC, NFC, and then we had the Super Bowl, and that was it.
Yeah. Wow. 3. That's crazy. We'll have to show it, but yeah,
And-
we didn't do that much. It wasn't the Dorm Debate channels did not exist until 2020.
No, we didn't have any Dorm Debate YouTube, no Dorm Debate Instagram,
Yeah.
TikTok, nothing. And we're like, all right, we're not gonna hang out together again. So I mean, we'll just not do
It
Dorm
just-
Debate. But
Yeah.
it wasn't like a decision. It was just okay, we're not hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And pandemic hits around March or April of 2020. Basically, the draft I think comes around, and I had texted into a group chat that I made, and I just called it Dorm Debate. But before that, I texted John, and it was around the NFL draft, and I'm like, bro, I'm bored as shit, dude. Like, we should do Dorm. We should.
I
early
remember
pandemic
Dorm Debate.
days.
I remember, did we prep the draft or no?
And it was
Or
just
it's
you.
just
It was.
afterwards,
I remember
right?
it was just you guys though.
No, we
Because
prepped. It was like
We
2 days
prepped.
before, so like
Yeah.
we watched it and then made the video.
We watched the draft.
Watched the
Yeah,
draft.
because I
then
remember
made
we
it.
were talking about the draft, and we're so bored. I'm like, I watched every minute of the draft, and you're like, so did, and you did too, and we were texting throughout it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I basically agree with John, and I'm like, yeah, we should start up. He's like, yeah, dude, let's do it. So I made the group chat with Dorn
Yeah.
Debate, and I'm like, oh, I'm text this whole thing out, and I was like, dear Global Village
All
residents
right.
or something like that.
So
Yeah.
formal.
And, like,
Yes.
we want to start up Dorm Debate again, like blah blah blah. And at first, you two didn't do the first episode.
No.
But you were both like in on it. You were like, oh yeah, heck yeah. Because I was worried about Jonathan because you were so busy at JP Morgan and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
man, I don't know if he's gonna do it. Like, I haven't talked to him forever. Like who knows?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know about Jonathan will do it. And you're like, heck yeah, I'll do it. Like, I'm bored too. I'm sitting in this house.
Yeah, and I
Whatever.
remember I opted out because again, this shows how much Dorm Debate wasn't a brand or a business. It was like I love football, but like college, it wasn't until I really met you that I started to care a little more about college football. But like to be aware of what draft, like who the rookies are gonna be, I just did not care enough to like.
Yeah.
I'd rather find out once the first season began to see it. So I was
But
like,
you
I'll
were
defer
all
to you.
in.
I
I'm
was
like-
like very supportive, but I was like,
Yeah.
I just know. I know what I don't know, So I'm like, I'm not gonna come into the draft picks and like have no idea. You know?
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah. That's
So then the revival started with John and I doing the post on YouTube. Still not even on the Dorm Debate
It
channel
was just a
yet.
one and done, I think. Just
And
to-
it was
Yeah,
it was
And I
literally-
think we recorded fantasy as well. I think we pushed for that.
Yeah, it was like NFL draft review or something like that. So we started up, and then I was like, all right, we need to do one all together. And our first one was like around when Gronk went to the Bucks,
Mm-hmm.
and that was our first episode back. About a year of not doing it, we're
Yeah.
all together, and I don't know what happened, but after we did that, we're like, that was a lot of fun. Like, especially with quarantine, you didn't see like anybody. Like, you didn't see any of your friends, didn't really socialize that much. Like,
Yeah.
Zoom was the only
Yeah.
real way. So I was like, that was a lot of fun. And we all kind of came to an agreement. We're like, we should do this more often. And we did, like, I said we did maybe, like, 2 videos a month up until, like, the season.
Yeah.
And then we're like, yo, let's create, like, a schedule, like.
Well, when did you created the TikTok when in sometime in the summer, like May,
Yeah, that was-
May or June or something?
That was big. So TikTok started going
and
up.
nobody knew what TikTok was other than you.
Well,
Caleb showed me.
Oh,
in,
really?
In the
was-
fall of 2019, he showed me it, and I was like,
Oh wow.
yeah.
When
so
did
to
you know
backtrack,
TikTok?
When y'all first showed me.
Yeah, that's when I.
well, this
when I knew
is
it.
backtracking a bit, but it ties into it. So I had my mid college crisis, so I started pivoting more to creative stuff. And one of those events was going to Adweek, hosted by my professor Barry Strawberry, and he kind of he went out on a limb and took all of us to Adweek in New York. And that year, TikTok was making its presence known to advertisers. So that was I'd say because we had a class together in our marketing that I pulled you into it. That I went to Adweek and I remember talking in class about TikTok and people we were college, like that's our target market. Like we were the young, still young, but I brought up like how TikTok's gonna be a thing, and people in the class were like laughing, but you understood it. Like I posted the perspective, right? How much things have changed. But I posted the Halloween on Global Village that door we made. We decorate. We'll
Wait,
put up
did
the
you
graphic.
really? You
Yeah,
posted that on
I made it.
TikTok?
I made a video of it, right? And I made a TikTok account. I posted it, and this is how much time's changed. I got 80 views, and now considering how much
That's
we get
actually
now,
pretty good.
well, it blew me and Jared's mind because I was pulling Jared on. I was like, look, dude, this thing got 80 views, and every Dorm Debate, even look now from I just scrolled just now, they got 8, 10. So coming from a YouTube background, which we had made videos through junior year,
yeah.
going
80
into
was
senior
a
year.
lot. You guys
80
were
was a
like-
lot, which in hindsight for TikTok, this was towards the golden age. I think me and you got on to TikTok when it was before when ads started to show up there, when celebrities started making accounts,
Yeah, it wasn't
people were groaning. It was like, oh, it's going to be vanilla now, but we got onto the tail end of when it was like the glory days, if you will, the nostalgia of
Right.
what you remember it to be before corporate got involved. But I found out of it through Adweek, and that's when I was like, that's where we got experience with TikTok, kind of me and Jared through internet marketing, through kind of like I saw them at Adweek, and they're,
Wow.
they're definitely, we were still in college, so we're there, but like in college, people were roasting it for being a high school thing, like way too juvenile. But we could see that this was a platform that, who knows, there's a lot of red flags even still, like there's a lot of uncertainty even still, but it was something that, it's not social media, it's not like YouTube, it's you can be creative in a way we would describe it as, and I don't mean to cut you off.
Very good.
We could describe it as like we had ideas for videos that were way too short for a YouTube video, but not
Serious enough.
not
for
serious enough for
YouTube.
Instagram stories or Instagram posts, because it was such a, to share it with your friends,
Right.
it just wasn't the right.
And
And TikTok
like
filled
more
that
than
gap.
Snapchat, but less
Yeah.
than
Like
YouTube.
little minute-long dumb ideas we had, and I was like, TikTok fits that spot, and there's
Yeah.
no other market for it, And that's what I think that's what we really got into it, and then jump into 2020.
Yeah.
We were publishing Dorm Debate for years on your YouTube,
Yep.
your personal YouTube, and then I think you guys did the draft, and this is how I remember it. You guys can correct, but I remember like getting a surge of motivation and giving Jared a call
Yeah, we had a long call
in the
about,
summer
like,
or something,
Dorm Debate.
and I really remember like, and not that it's all of us, but I remember being like, yo, let's, in the pandemic, I was like, let's do this for real, like. And I think we were on like a 6-hour call making the YouTube channel, making the TikTok, making the Instagram, and it was like going all in. Like I think I knew you guys would be on board, but like because we had that creative bent more, we could make the graphics, and
Yeah.
all of us just being ourselves have enough to like give us stuff to do,
Mm-hmm.
But that was like the year of the pandemic was when it was like, let's do this like and just see where it goes, And
Right.
because I remember having reservations about Zoom, like.
Yep.
I think all of us did, because it was. Now it's more normal a year or two in the pandemic, but it was like we're really gonna do the podcast on Zoom,
Yeah.
But we were like, as long as we were like, let's just have it exist, like let's just do it, and then we'll slowly. It existing is better than waiting for the perfect moment, because that you compare to where we were, but it was like.
But you guys had the knowledge of it, because I don't know about you, but I didn't watch podcasts or go on
Yeah.
TikTok at all.
I
But
didn't either.
that was good that you guys knew, because when you guys told me like, oh, let's actually do Dorm Debate, I was just like, oh yeah, it's fun to talk to you guys. I didn't think like it could actually be like people
Yeah,
would
I didn't-
actually follow us. I'm
Yeah,
like, why
I
would
didn't
people
realize
want to listen to us?
Even to
Like,
this day, it blows my mind. But I was just like, we could. I would say we complement each other. I think, and that's why it's so organic, authentic. Because I remember telling you guys, like, because I remember you guys saying to me and Jared, like, how because Jared does more of the technical work than anyone now. But it was like with the Instagram and stuff. I was like, don't feel bad, because like you guys with your opinions and your rivalry alone, and then me and Jared have different opinions, but we're a little more level.
Yeah.
Like it's just, you guys being yourselves was enough for it to be something that we wanted to work on.
Yeah.
Than like to devote ourselves to like strictly going into marketing or advertising for
Yeah.
corporate response. You got you into freelance and things like that. But to do something that we wanted to do, it was because of you guys. So we all like complemented each other. We just happened to like at that time take advantage of that. In a lot of ways, we still have our different bends to things. But that was the beauty of it, is like we didn't even know where it was gonna. What was the metrics for that first year?
I mean, yeah, that first year was crazy. I mean, go back to like that call you had even before Dorm Date was even a thing, when you were having your like mid-college crisis.
Yeah.
And we would go to like DeBella's and stuff to eat and stuff.
Yeah.
And we would sit for like hours and hours and just being like, we're young, like,
Yeah.
we're
Was this when I left?
this is when we
Yeah.
left, yeah. But I remember
We'd still talk about, even that's kind of what got when I talked to you about Deceiver, not to cut you off.
No, you're good.
We would talk for hours about that kind of stuff,
Yep.
and it led me to when you were saying during your game, I was like, you gotta do
yeah,
it.
because that's when
Yep.
in 2019, when we had that 1 year gap, that's when I thought of my card game Deceiver.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about like, how we were like young, and it's like, this is your time to like do what you want and
Yeah.
follow your dream.
Yeah.
So like, not to get that 9 to 5 job that everybody dreads and stuff and look forward to the weekend, but like,
Yeah.
be able to create content and be able to do what you love.
Yeah, and I was in it's a video for another day while my college crisis, but I remember like
Yeah.
having a
That
really
did lead to like Dorm Debate, because we would talk just about all the creative stuff, like oh, if you want to do the creative stuff and whatever, like you're young now, you might as well do it. If you fail, you can live at home. It's like, who knows when you like get the 9 to 5
Right.
and you get a job, you move away in your apartment, you get a girlfriend or whatever. It's like, okay, now you got to support them. What if you get a family? Now you got to support them. It's like, you can't take
This is
risks.
this is your
chance.
one chance in life.
and there's nothing wrong with any of that, because I remember working with a guy who really loved his family, and a good man, but like I think if once you start, and a lot of this inspiration, when I got my mid-college crisis, I went to a lot of sources for wisdom, and one example, we can like show a clip or something, but Steve Jobs talking about like, if you really want to do something with your life and make a difference in the world, not that you can't do things when you're later in life, because you can do it when you have a family, when you have a mortgage, when you haven't, you can definitely do it, but there is much less restriction on you when you're young, like, because you're
remember you
likely
showing
I
that
sent you,
clip
I
to
wrote
me.
an article about it too on my blog or something, But like basically what you're saying, like when you're young, you have certain liberties that you might not have later on in life.
Right.
And we all had ambitions and creative things, and that's when I was like thinking hard about it, and not like all the work was you. But I remember talking to you about your game, and I was like, dude, yeah, like you gotta do it when you like if you're gonna do it now. Like
Right.
and this is what led to Dorm Debate was I'd rather be 30 and entering the workforce and nothing wrong with a salary job or anything, but I'd rather like look back in my 20s and at least I tried
Right.
to build something,
That's exactly
you
what I
know,
was thinking.
than like be 30 and wish I'd started sooner.
Wait, so you guys knew about Deceiver before John created it?
When it was still when you went to
when
the
did-
RIT program, you
Technically-
were debating going into that class, the
Well,
entrepreneurship program.
Yeah. Was that when did you first know? Oh wait, when
It
you
was at
know.
Woodbine when you showed us the game.
that
well,
was like
so-
2019.
So when in 2019 in the fall, you weren't there, but the rest of us went to our house at Woodbine, and we got together for the fantasy draft. Like we all drafted together. You might have been on the phone with us or something.
You were,
but
you were there, you were drafting, but you weren't there in person. It was
Right.
us three plus. You'll see them in the other fantasy
Oh, yeah.
Zoom. But
I think I was at
it was-
JP Morgan at the time I was doing it under my
yeah,
desk.
you were.
sneaking it in.
Yeah, you were still doing it. But like all of us, it was five of us
Yeah,
with
5
Nate
of
and
us.
John. The
But
other
then
John.
my dad printed a prototype for me because he works in the printing industry. So he printed a prototype of Deceiver. And my thing was like I wanted to be able to get like real feedback from like people. So I didn't tell people that I made the game. So I brought it to like with us 5, and we did the fantasy draft. And I was like, oh guys, like I bought this game. Like it's super fun. Like I think we should play it. And then I bring it out in this like box. It's not really a box. It's cards rubber banded together in like a paper box or something. And you guys and I'm like, oh, I didn't even let them say anything. I just walked up. I'm like, oh, the box I broke. So I just use this now.
The same energy. You baited us into like, yeah, you don't have to, but I have this card game.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys want to play it? Because like selling a card game to college kids is kind of not what you think of. But we were like game for it, but we didn't know it was your game.
No, so we play, and then I'm like, and then you guys like had fun with the first round. So I'm like, oh, I'll deal out a second round, and they were like, oh, this is fun, and then I'm like, oh, like, would you guys buy this game after like 5 rounds? Like everybody's laughing. It's all about deceiving each other, so it's so fun.
Yeah.
And you guys are like, yeah, this is a pretty fun game. I would probably buy this, and I'm like, yeah, I actually created the game. And after deceiving it, you know me, like
Yeah.
after you play this game and you deceive everybody,
Yeah.
they're like, bro, you didn't play the game, make the game. Just deal with the next round. I'm like, no, I did. I'm like, look at the background on my phone, and the background on my phone was Deceiver, and you guys are just like,
Because
just didn't
we
didn't
knew
believe
you
it.
well enough that that's something you would say and not be true.
Yeah. but then once I
was,
said my
yeah.
dad was in the printing industry, which you guys knew, and that he printed
Yeah.
that.
So when I
But
encourage you to like really, I mean, that was one of many conversations I'm sure we had, but it was like I wasn't like blindly telling you without playing the game, but we had so much fun playing it that it was like belly laugh playing
Yeah.
with, and I still like, you know, knowing Nate and John as well as I did, but the game kind of makes you know them better. Or if you've played Deceiver, it's so much fun. But I had so much fun playing it, and it's a card game, so my expectations were subverted.
Yeah.
Not knowing it was yours and finding out it was yours was what it was like.
That
it was
like
a good
even
product.
better. It was like,
I was
whoa,
like,
that's like so
this is
cool.
if it was a bad product, I wouldn't be like, yeah, spend a year of your life just doing.
Yeah.
I'd be like, dude, you know, you got talent, but no, I really liked it, and I was like, you can do this. Like, I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but you got to try. You know, it's like because I'd seen how good it was, how fun it was, and even to the point that this flash forward, I bring it to friends that never don't know you. I'm like, yeah, a friend in college made it, and they're like, yeah, we'll play to entertain
Incredible.
Caleb, you know.
Yeah.
And we had so much fun again, like belly laugh, just
Yeah.
like and finding out things about each other, and
Yeah.
you know, see, it's like it's a fun game. It's not we'll advertise Deceiver.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy. That energy of trying, that entrepreneurial energy led to Dorm Debate and a lot. It complemented a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think we all. It's funny because we were also you had switched to business school, so you had you had technical to start out with because you went into you mentioned
like imaging arts and science.
for like Photoshop and video editing, and because that was what you wanted
Yeah.
to focus on. But it
Yeah.
wasn't what you liked, and you just wanted to go to business. We were like, come to business
Yeah,
with
kind of
me
business
and
is easy.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Oh my gosh! I mean, this is backtracking a long time. It's not.
We're just riffing at this point.
Yeah, it's just good to talk.
Who's
But
still listening? you know?
I remember I was at lunch with Jonathan, and I'm like, yeah, I think the people in imaging art and science are just weird. Like, they're just not my people. You know?
Everyone in
and-
that major right now is
Most
like,
people in RIT are in our people.
Yeah, yeah.
That-
And I'm like, you know, I kind of like marketing. Marketing's, you know, where I would want to be. Like, if I'm gonna be like a video editor or whatever. Like I want to be able to like market the right way. And I'm like, I look at this like new media marketing. And, like I saw this,
Right.
and or no. It was I pulled up something else, and Jonathan's like, oh, what about this? And he sends a picture of it, and it's new media marketing. I'm like, yeah, but it's a major. Like I'm looking for a minor. You know, like I didn't
So
want
you
to.
don't have to change.
I didn't want to
classes.
fully switch
Change
majors
schools,
yet. And turns out, like, I changed majors and whatever, and I end up going into new media marketing. And it was
Mhm.
the one that he suggested.
Wow.
And I didn't even think about it until years and years after. And I was going through, like, screenshots, and
Time travel.
I saw it, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, this screenshot was from, like, 2017.
Wow.
Or
That's crazy.
earlier than that, like, 2016.
Wow.
Like, no shot. I went into that major, the one that you suggested.
Wow.
So creepy.
That's what I'm saying.
But back to like the like motivation and like pursuing things. You, Jonathan, your last semester, you can attest to this. He started like getting more relaxed. Do you remember that? Like he started being like,
Why,
you know,
though?
like.
I mean,
I think you could probably talk about it. I think it was because you were like, yeah, it's my last semester, so like, I kind of wanted to
I
like
started to realize.
live it up or something
Yeah, I didn't care
like
about the grades too much. I was like, whatever, who cares?
that. Which, if you know Jonathan, he like,
It's not that you're-
when it comes to like studying and homework, it's like that's the only thing he does. So it was like grades were like very important.
Not
And
that
then
they're
you just
not,
come
but-
out one day and you're like, yeah, like, I'm just like want to have fun and like watch football. I don't really want to like go in my room instead. I was like, wow. And I would tell Kayla, would be like, dude, he finally came around.
Yes, let's go.
But yes, I don't know if
Or-
you
or
can
we
speak
wo-
on that because
Or we wore him
I
down.
do remember
from our
that.
end. Because we were.
Yeah, finally won.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Literally, maybe we wore you down because I would defer projects and homework to make a video that got like 30
just,
views
like,
on
watch
YouTube.
football and have fun.
Yeah, the March Madness video. But yeah, it's like I remember that you started to really like, you know, you did the chorus and a bunch of stuff, but like you really invested in like doing.
Yeah.
It's just great, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I should have realized it earlier, but I realized I was like, hey, this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity to go to college, hang out with great friends, roommates. Because the next 40 or so years, I'm going to be working
Yeah.
probably 9 to 5 if I don't find a business or something. I'm probably going to work
Something-
from 9 to 5. So I was like, let me enjoy this moment rather than trying to focus on getting good grades and stuff like that. Let me just have a little fun, maybe do some choir. I was thinking about doing some intramural sports during the last semester, but our track coach didn't let us.
Yeah.
But he was a great coach. Coach Raz, if you're listening.
Yeah, I think you did come to some of. You started to come a little more to our intramural games.
Yeah.
A little bit, but yeah, that's like the same mentality, you know.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was fun. That last semester was fun.
Yeah, you were also only there. You were only in college for 3 years because you graduated a year early.
Yeah, I graduated a year early. So, I mean,
So you were really focused. I mean, I say this to everyone, but like you're so laser focused. It's not that you were a tense or not fun to be around, but like you had your priorities straight, and I don't think I did. You know,
I was pretty focused, and it was. I mean, I guess it's good.
it's good discipline.
But at the same time, college is it's an experience. You meet a lot of people. You can have some fun that you wouldn't have later in life, right? And so, I started to realize that last semester, I was like, man, this is about to be it. Let me just live it up a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Come out in my room a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Exactly.
That was when you did the year end. You know, we played football in the snow in like foot deep snow. We have video of that. We'll have to flash it. When
Do
it's,
we?
Yeah, at least
Oh
I
my
do.
gosh.
Yeah, that's one of those things I keep saying I'll edit one day, but
4 years.
We'll
Yeah.
end this with like a slow like montage of all our videos.
in 5 years when I finish it,
Yeah.
we're working. I wish I was as disciplined as you, but yeah, it's like I feel like we all had different interests, but the complements of each other's personalities and ambitions will be like we're very good at encouraging each other.
So where we left off with dorm debate was we started making videos again, but the difference was we were on Zoom, so it's
Yeah.
finally visual. I was able to actually like edit something and add.
Yeah, we had a lot of conversations
Yeah.
about design and
Yeah, so once we started a little bit more, then we would have long calls about like what dorm debate could be, and then you started talking a lot about like the branding aspect of it. Like if someone
orange.
searches dorm debate, we don't want the videos to be on my channel, the J Trink channel. We want it to be like, all right, dorm debate YouTube, dorm debate Instagram to be like the top searches.
yeah.
And then we started thinking about a new logo. We started like just rebranding everything. 'Cause
That was like right before the football season, right?
Yeah.
yeah, because me and you both, and John too, we all like knew that we had something.
Yeah.
Like even the
I knew the
little
name.
sample that we had is like, dude, like, because the way I pictured it was like big picture. I was like, all right, Jonathan's really good at like debating. John, you're good at just doing the total opposite, right? And just like you guys-
Instigating.
yeah,
and it was like because I watched Skip and Shannon, and he's more like the Skip, like Cowboys fan, and I'm like Shannon, like what are you saying? And I was like, people, I'm like people watch that, like I think people would want to watch us. Like,
Yeah.
exactly. So like from the big picture, we kind of noticed like we all have our own personality. We're like we never all agreed on one thing. Like it's
Yeah.
very rarely we agree
Yeah.
on that.
We would sincere debates, and the fact that like the things fell into place because Jonathan's a Cowboys fan, you're a Giants fan, I'm an Eagles fan, Chargers, but it gave you like a fourth, because WFT needs some help.
Yeah,
But you being the fourth, kind of like a flex option.
yeah,
For
just
that?
to like float around.
Oh,
Yeah.
because the NFC East, because you're Eagles, Giants, and Cowboys, and then I was kind of the.
'Cause I hate to say it, Washington
'Cause
wasn't a real.
It's
They've
it's good though
struggled.
because I'm
Yeah.
like more of like the moderator.
You're
so it's
moderator,
like it's
you're
good that I'm
flex,
a
yeah.
little bit neutral
Yeah.
with everything.
Yeah.
We're all trying to convince you to side
Yeah.
with us.
Yeah,
Because you
it's-
like the
that's a
Chargers,
great- That's
yeah.
a great thing.
That's true. That's true. That is true.
Like
But that-
sometimes I side with the Cowboys, I side with the Giants most times, the Eagles with Jalen Hurts. So it's like
Right.
a lot of times I'll just kind of navigate through each team.
yeah,
but-
the only bias I think is Michigan players. You
Oh
know?
yeah. Yeah, that's the only bias.
But you also, because you knew so much about college, you kind of have an in to who would be a star.
yeah,
you know,
draft prospects.
Some of the
and
rookie, like Kyler, you were on Kyler's train really early.
Mika Parsons. right?
Mika Parsons,
Yeah.
yeah, until the draft Cowboys. Yeah, there's a lot. But so we all had this like bigger vision. That was one of the first times where we're like, all right, this could actually be a thing. So
Getting
we
the
actually
handle.
put the effort in,
Yeah.
and because me and you both, we didn't really have a job out of college. We were
No.
just like,
No.
we're like, dude, this is it. We might as well just go all in.
My plan had been to start looking in this. Like most senior year people, kind of it depends what industry you're in. I know Jonathan, you found when you were interviewing in the spring of your third year, I think, right, and fall. Like some people have it a year ahead
Yeah.
before graduation.
Yeah, but
Oh right.
Most I'd say start in the fall and early spring.
yeah.
And the pandemic started in March. So around March, I think it was after winter break, my plan was get back to school, record some short films. I had like I went part-time and started taking giving a lot of time to creating stuff.
Yeah.
And my plan was to do that and then also like look for work to finance the creation stuff. But my plan had been after winter break to take that seriously because for that first semester, the second semester, the 2 months I had in school was creating stuff. So when I got back, once the pandemic started, my friends who had jobs already were pushed back a bit, but they held on to them. Again, not for everyone. But if you were looking for work, everyone stopped hiring. So it was like a freeze.
Yeah,
So
that
whatever
was a
status
big
you were
thing,
in, it was
too.
a freeze. And thankfully the loans, even the private loans, were delayed till November. But it was come summer that we had a lot of free time. Sleep schedules flipped. We filmed the Club Penguin. Like me and Jared were, we all stayed in touch.
We're on
all
just
of
like
us.
a creative run, like
Yeah,
just- because we're also quarantined, so like
Yeah.
there was just nothing to do.
I remember
Yeah.
calling and being like, once we're done calling, we're like we can't say, all right, I gotta go. Like,
Yeah,
Where do you
I
go?
don't have to go
That's
do
why the
anything.
calls
are
I'm
so
just
long.
tired, I guess.
yeah, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go shower now, so I can't, I'm gonna go eat, and I'd rather not be on the phone while I eat.
But we were posting stuff on TikTok. That's when
Yeah.
we started
Yeah.
the TikTok.
Yeah,
And we were getting what, like 200 views?
So I first started the TikTok, and I was like, dude, we should post our podcast clips because I only saw maybe a couple people do them. Like, dude, this could be like a real thing. And we always talk about like the organic reach on TikTok. I'm like, if we want to get new people, like this is the best way.
Right.
So I started posting podcast clips, and they would get 200 to 400.
Yeah, can't
And
get over 400.
Nothing would get over 400. Just no traction. I would post like a couple memes about like Brady, and they would get like 1,000.
Oh yeah.
Like when that I had a Tom Brady one that got like 1,000
I
views on
remember that.
TikTok,
Yeah.
and I was like, I sent screenshot in the chat. I was like, holy crap, this thing's blowing up. I gotta do another
This
one.
thing's blowing
Yeah,
up.
my
It's got
first-
1,000.
My
Yeah.
first viral video was a Taylor Swift edit that I shared with you a year prior. Just I made it for fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I shared it with you, and I put it on my story, and that was it.
Yep.
And then on TikTok the next year, I was like, this would be actually like perfect. That gap I was talking about of
Yeah.
content that's too short for YouTube, but it doesn't stick on Instagram back then, or any other platform. So I posted it, and that got like 20,000, which
Yeah, I
even
remember
for
it.
your first or
That was
second,
huge.
for your first couple videos, that's like a big.
'Cause
You don't
not-
see any of that.
Not
in any other-
everyone was getting 1 million because there
It was
weren't
really-
a lot of users.
Yeah.
It was like even there are some influencers now who have the blue check mark that I saw and started following when they had like 15, 20,000.
Wow.
And I would actually, this is this weird thing, but I was like, they have a good personality and they're entertaining. I screenshot it because I want to be like, down the line, I called it. Like they have they're gonna
like
be
you're buying
and
stock in them or something.
to prove it.
Bro,
You know?
so okay,
Oh, yeah.
so that's a good transition. So we start posting, and eventually, we get to fantasy, and John is
Well,
like,
I remember being like, well, I'm pretty good at fantasy.
Yeah.
I'm like, what if I like tell people who to put in or something?
Mhm.
And I remember you being like, oh, I don't really want to become a fantasy account. Like
do
we
remember
we
that.
do the podcast, so like if you do fantasy, then it's like taking away from the podcast. Which it actually did the exact opposite. It brought people in and trickled down to the podcast.
it's
a rising tide raises all ships.
yeah. Because I was worried, like, dude, if you're wrong, then it's like, how do you grow? Like, it's just gonna be a bunch of hate comments.
I do remember you
and it's like, I don't want to put our success on the shoulders of like players that literally have nothing to do. Like, I can't control it.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
we can't control it.
Yeah, I
There's
think-
no way.
I
So
remember
it-
liking it because we all different contributions. Because in terms of it, because that was like your thing.
Right.
Jonathan did some analysis and just your Skip like interpretations
Yeah.
as a Cowboys.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I remember you being resistant because we looked at some other channels that were pure fantasy and
And it's really hard.
they do get pigeonholed. So it's a legitimate.
But I remember posting, I was like, all right, I'll try it. So I got on my video in front of my flag, and I'm like, one guy you need to start in your lineups this week is Josh Jacobs. It was week 1. He was playing the Carolina Panthers on the Raiders, and he had 3 touchdowns in that game.
And then you did a reaction, right?
So Jared did a reaction. He did the duet, and he was like,
oh yeah.
he was like, what? He was like,
Yeah, I
watch
duetted
this.
it. I'm
Do
like,
some
oh my
acting,
He's
yeah.
God.
like, oh my gosh,
It
because
exploded.
Jacobs got like 30 points. And we got
Video exploded.
100,000,
Oh my gosh.
or like 109,000 views, and we're like looking at each other like,
Like this is
bro, what? And we hadn't even had a video get over 10K.
Yeah.
When how is this going to
That's insane.
100K?
and
I
I can't even explain
believe
it.
I was looking at it like every
I was
minute.
like,
wow.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
I would, like, refresh it.
I'm like, mom and dad, like
know,
100,000 people saw my face. Like what?
show
And
your
they're
parents.
like, no, that's not
no,
real.
we would have conversations about this to illustrate how crazy that was for us at the time. And it's still, nothing to laugh at because it's even if you're just starting out, that's a lot of views. It's crazy
Yeah.
what we
Oh
average
my gosh,
now.
yeah.
But I
Refreshing
remember
it every second.
Yeah, I did. We've been there. But no, I remember calling Jared because I was doing a lot of Instagram. And it was the followers were just us and our family members.
Yeah.
But I was like and you were focusing a lot on TikTok, and we tried to compliment each other and do different things. But we were getting such little engagement, like a couple likes on Instagram.
Yeah.
Literally maybe a couple. Like never triple digits was a big deal on TikTok for
Yeah.
views. But I
Yeah.
was like, we got to if we just stick with it, the algorithm likes the daily. You
Yeah.
know? And props to you. You were really good at consider because once you get a peak like that, they're like, oh, they actually kind of
Yeah.
they might have something here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I would work so hard editing those podcast clips.
It would take you like
Yeah.
hours.
Bro,
and
I,
then
like,
I would go on and make a 30-second
Yeah.
video blown up.
Yeah.
Jared's
I
like,
would make. Oh,
Jared's like, I just spent 2
Even-
hours editing that
I
clip.
was I'd set my alarm for 6 and just go on NFL.com, ESPN, like just see the news so that I could at least try to break the news,
Yeah.
and that be our competitive.
Yep, I remember that
Because we
too.
focused a lot on
We
the
were
Instagram
close.
being news. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which-
dude, I would
yeah.
spend so much time on that. I created like the background, like original background. I made borders for
You're
us.
the MVP
Go-
behind the scene, really.
Oh my god, I would go through
Yeah.
it, all the clip. I would go through one podcast and I'd post like 10 clips from it.
Yeah.
Manually listening to it. 'cause-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, why is this going viral right now? I'm literally going, ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah, Josh Jacobs. I'm like, that gets 100,000, but the freaking other podcast clips I do, like, they
Yeah.
don't get anything. And so then I started realizing, all right. And I was like, oh, fantasy gets views.
Yeah.
Fantasy gets
we
views.
just had to. Then I did it every week. And long story short, just did it like throughout the season, and we just slowly gained. I think I had some other good calls and stuff, but
Yeah.
then posted more podcast clips, and we started meeting every Tuesday, right?
Yeah, we started to push.
Yeah.
I remember that first season with the 2:00 Tuesdays. I mean,
Yeah.
that I was like at the end of it, we're like, wow, we really like this is the first door debate with every week of the season.
Every week
And
we
the
did.
followers started to increase
Yeah.
and spike, and then all of a sudden, I guess you guys had the idea that hey, maybe you should have a fantasy show, which should
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's
when I
right.
started to go live once I finished college, like right after Thanksgiving of the COVID year, 2020. I was like, oh,
Oh,
maybe I
right.
should go live, like to give some people advice. Then that's when it started to like grow a little bit because I
Yep.
made a good pick. You made some good reaction videos, and I think we ended the year at like 10.5K.
Yeah,
We like joined
right,
the creator fund.
right at New Year's.
Yeah, you had the
we
idea.
hit.
I was hesitant about that because a lot of the creator fund memes were like, you get a lot of views and then you get nothing.
Yeah,
and
that
I
was
think
the
that was
big
that was
thing.
I think it was true.
I mean, that's
think
why
so,
that's
too.
why I mentioned the red
we
flag
hit
with
creator fund.
they don't want to pay you or something.
Dude, literally from New Year's to August 1st of 2021 this year, we were still at between 10 and 11K followers.
Yeah, we were actually
But-
regressing. We went from 10 point.
People were like, "Who are these guys? They're not good anymore."
We went from-
Unfollow.
you were regressing.
we actually.
We went from 10.9 to 10.6 through that time. So all right, so basically we go through that first season, grow from 0 to 10K.
Yeah.
Then fantasy's over, Super Bowl's over, and we just stop completely.
Yeah.
And we did one podcast extra, which was the interview with Chris Evans,
Yeah.
and that was the last one. And then we go through 2021 and the summer and whatever, and don't do anything. And I come visit you in was it summertime? When was it?
It was like May, I think.
In May of 2021, and still I'm not like taking Dorm Debate serious. Like I honestly I
wasn't
think it was
either,
like
really.
it was fun to have like 10K followers, and that was great. And we did have that like vision of it being great, but like the podcast clips weren't really getting
Right.
any traction.
They
I
weren't.
remember you being more confident than I was because you were like, "Dude, I'm all like, if we can get Dorm Day going, I'm all in." And I'm
Remember,
like, "Yeah." I'm
me and
like,
Jared
in my
would-
head, I'm like,
Well, because
We'd encourage each other a lot with the content creation side
I was low
because it was pretty demoralizing
We-
to put all that work into a post.
"Yeah."
Right. So like the podcast, like I was more focused on the podcast clips than the fantasy. So I was noticing like they didn't get a lot of views. Then we I DM'd maybe over
Yeah.
80 athletes. None of them responded except for Chris Evans. So I was
Hey,
like,
Chris Evans.
yeah, dude, he's the real
Scored a
one.
touchdown.
So I'm like,
Dorm Debate history.
dang, like, I don't know. It just wasn't working out like the way I
Yeah.
pictured. And I'm like, maybe this isn't. I just started doubting it. Then I met with you, and I was like back in it because we both were like, let's make a plan.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I'm gonna start posting more.
Yeah, I literally, because I was like, I'm going to graduate college. I'm like, dude, I'm going to post a lot more. Because, remember you guys being like, it's consistency.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, let's post every day. Let's make a plan. Like, let's make a plan every Tuesday. We're going to meet and we're going to talk. Like, we have to get into a rhythm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you were like, yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, we had this like plan of like, oh, we're gonna like I had this idea of like doing more talking because a lot of our posts we had the podcast clips, they wouldn't get any traction or whatever, but like for Jonathan, Kayla, and me, and John was the only one that they heard his voice. So I was like, dude, we need to have more like talking.
More personality.
Yeah, more personality. So I was like, oh, maybe Caleb could do stories, and like Jonathan could do his analytics videos, and I could do whatever. And they can actually like hear a voice talking, maybe like get sort of a connection, like a personal
Right.
level. And that was our plan. And we go back, and I do like one video on like a bowl prediction in like August, and it gets, I think it was like 5,000.
Still, which was like a flare up for
Which
us.
is, yeah, it was
Yeah, that
pretty
was
good.
actually pretty good
It was
for
like,
us.
dang, okay.
So we're starting to get back in it.
I think the Antonio Brown video was one I remember where we all like
That
heard-
was good too.
Yeah.
heard him go to the box.
That was one that I actually referenced. Was like, yeah,
Yeah.
we need to get like more of us talking.
We
Yeah.
recorded all of us wherever we were, just recorded
Yeah.
our take. But that was like I just remember that.
Yeah, and there was a thing where I didn't want to keep promoting the YouTube. I wanted to make content
Yeah.
for the TikTok specifically.
Yeah.
Right.
Because sometimes it's just annoying to be like doing ads
Yeah.
and stuff. So I was like, all right, we got to get like Caleb, Jonathan, me to do more TikTok.
Yeah.
So I post the bold prediction, and then a couple days later, I'm about to post again, like another one, and we had a plan with John. I was like, John, do like some more bold predictions. And all of a sudden, he sends me a post in the TikTok DMs, and he's like, yo, this is really funny. And it's a guy doing like fantasy football names. So he's literally just going through, and he's like, here are some fantasy football names for you. And he's going through the list.
Yeah, he's just and what did I message you? I'm like, this is a good idea.
I was
I'm
like, oh, we should do it. And then I'm like, bro, I'm good at graphics.
Yeah.
Let's make logos. Let's
Yeah.
make logos.
I'm
for
like,
these.
we could come up with better names than this.
Yeah.
And we came, and I'm like, and then
Roasting this guy.
we just came up with such good names.
They were, yeah. So I'll admit,
Well,
I literally went online, and for the first couple, I was like, all right, I'm gonna just copy these. But then it was more about the graphics. It
Yeah.
was more about people like
yeah, it's
using
more,
the logos.
yeah, it's all
and stuff.
about the logos.
So I'm like, okay, we have something here. So I post the first one over
A
100,000.
It ended up with 1 million.
Ended up with 1 million.
but that
first
that
post.
day it was over 100K.
And then
Wow.
featuring on
And
the
we're like-
on like TikTok featured you on the fantasy football hashtag.
If you search
Yeah.
hashtag fantasy football, I think we're the 6-1. Maybe.
well, like in September when people are starting or August when they're starting their teams, like you go to the homepage and all the trending topics. Like for us to be there, that's like
surreal.
it was a surreal thing, and it was props because like even I think that you see seeds of it throughout, but we always it's like certainly it'd be nice to have money, make money off of
Yeah.
the fun stuff,
Yeah.
but we didn't do it for the money. We made it for ourselves, but then it started to like flare ups showed us what was giving value to people, and like even to start out, you watch the Zoom, the audio is terrible the first season or something,
Yeah.
but we were just doing it to be consistent to show it to ourselves like it's worth doing. We liked it. It was a way to stay in touch too.
Right,
Once
exactly.
Yeah.
college ended, so that was another big reason to just see you guys once a week. Because as many people know, it's really hard to like keep in touch.
Yeah.
But then it was slowly like the fantasy football gives people value, or
Yeah.
the graphics. Like even if you Google them, it's like sometimes people will see it through TikTok than if they actually go on Safari and Google it. Like you're bringing.
Yeah,
something,
you had no watermarks on it. Like
You're
you
just
were
bringing-
like just giving it to
Oh,
them.
man. So
yeah, you're bringing value to people.
So that trend started, and I did the first one, and I'm talking to John and you guys, and I was just like, holy crap. I was like, I gotta do another one
This thing's
tomorrow.
blowing up.
Yeah, I'm like, I gotta do another one tomorrow.
Yeah.
So then I didn't miss one for like,
Literally 2.5, 3 weeks.
it may have been like two weeks straight of just like
Yeah.
not missing it, and then I
Every
had to go
day.
shoot that movie. So I was like,
right.
I have to leave. So I made a couple batches,
Yeah,
and
celebrity
then
actor
and I
here.
stopped. Yeah, no acting. So I'm like,
Go shoot a movie, isn't it? You know?
I'm like, oh shoot. So after
We gained how many followers? Did we
So
gain
so
for
in
that?
total, to like wrap that like segment up, we gained 20,000 followers.
Went from
So we went
10
from 10
10K
to 30K. Yep, to end it off. There were a bunch of NFL teams that were commenting
Yeah.
on it, which was just insane for
Right.
us.
Yeah.
Because that we were like it was crazy that we
Blue
were
check
on,
marks for interacting with us.
Yeah.
we were on NFL TikTok. NFL
They commented, right?
NFL
Yeah.
TikTok commented.
Steelers, Cardinals, so many.
We were trying to get all the teams to
Bengals,
comment.
Bengals.
So yeah, so what was
But
great?
that was the first like, this is real.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
I was
and-
like, it was like,
It
and we
gave
were
us-
talking. We were like, that was the perfect like momentum built
Oh,
into
it
the
was-
season, like
and like you
gaining
said,
those
like-
followers.
'cause we were dead like the whole.
Yeah,
summer,
we-
and
Yeah,
then
the creator
bang, it
fund
just,
was like, push these guys down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just shot
give
up.
them
We just
anything.
broke through the ground.
But it was because there was for the first season saying all this stuff about the investments because it was giving value to people that led to us investing in audio in microphones so that we could hear ourselves better, but also like people are actually listening to us now. Like we gotta make it easier for them.
It really was like the push.
Because that's one of the things that was like
Yeah, because at that point
now there's people listening. We can't have garbage.
yeah,
Quality, you know?
I mean, because we interviewed Chris Evans, but then no one else responded, so that was like, oh, that sucks. And then throughout that point, it was like still COVID was going on, so it
right?
was like
We both
both unemployed.
were you.
I
You were
was
still in
still in
school.
school.
Yeah, Jonathan was working,
Yeah,
but
so
that
it
was meant like it was, and it was still the
it was a
first
lot.
year and first months of the pandemic,
yeah,
and yet we still like somehow managed to at least consistently put stuff out.
yeah, and in that 2021 like summer span, it was like. It's like, oh, like I really want Dornby to work, but it's
Yeah.
just like,
Like what? And plus, there's no news in football. Really.
yeah, and I'm thinking of just like the content on TikTok. I'm like, maybe we need to start being dancers or something.
yeah.
Like what
Take
can
dancing
we
lessons.
like? No one wants to listen to podcasts and
Yeah.
whatnot. I'm like- so I was just like really low, and then for that to happen and just shoot up,
Yeah.
we're like, oh, we're going all in this season.
And then
like,
it was like once that happened, it was like okay, my fantasy because I started doing the lives, and I'm
Started
like,
doing the lives.
okay, I'm gonna do the lives again.
Yep.
Then it was like okay, now I need to be like my picks need to be good.
Right.
And then I remember, I don't know if you guys joined my week 1. I went live, and last year when I went live, like at the end of the season in the fantasy playoffs, I had like what 40 or 50 people in my live. So then in week 1, it got up to like 86, I think was the max. And I'm like, Jared, holy shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
I had a max of 86 people like in week 1 of 2021. He's like, oh my gosh. So then the next week I had like, it got up to like 400. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then
Yeah.
week 3, it was down and the max was like 120. And I'm like, what? That's weird.
Yeah.
But then week 4, it got up to like 1K. And then from there, it just, I don't know why, because I guess I
think
got
the
things right
papers.
in week 1, 2,
Like
and
when
3.
you got the things right, Jared would post the reactions, like
Yeah.
you saying you got to start this, and then you kind of acting a bit, being
Yep.
like, whoa,
Yeah.
Because of React video, duetting was a feature we saw come. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't always in TikTok.
Yeah, there was a basically a rhythm every week. So you do the live to end off. So like you do like, well, for this season it would be like you do the waiver, then you do
Waiver,
like
yep.
maybe a trend video,
Yeah.
then the podcast would come out, then I would do the podcast clips,
Yeah.
then Saturday would be your one
Fan-
weekly pick.
Yeah, a fantasy podcast, and then I would post like a clip to
Yep, the
promote
fancy
that.
podcast, which didn't even start till like halfway through
Yeah.
the season.
Yeah.
And then Sunday you do the live, and then we just do it all over again. The Sunday reactions.
reaction to the live, yeah.
Yeah, and then do it all over again, and then do it all over again. And like once we got into that rhythm, yeah, because I think with TikTok, what I kind of missed was once you find something like a trend, you do it over and over and over again. And you just beat that horse
Until it dies.
You literally,
That's
because
what you do.
That's what people like. I mean,
because that's the trend.
People want what the people want.
Yeah,
same sound, like same.
It's just
thing.
TikTok too, because like it doesn't work in other. You got to know the platform, I
Right.
think you got onto it.
Because it's
though. You did.
Yeah, with the like I was telling John, the fantasy football videos, like I was doing the same thing over and over and over, like 14 straight, just different profiles, and people liked them. But I was telling him like if it goes over our follower count, which is only 10K,
Yeah.
and we'd get 300,000, a million, whatever. If another video gets a million, that's 1 million different people.
Yeah, it's basically the goal in the beginning of the season turned into let's try to post a video and make it get over our follower count.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just turned into like getting into that rhythm, doing that every week. And we were at 10K at the beginning of August, then 30K after your fantasy profile. We're sitting at 154,000 followers. Like that's insane.
Yeah, because I remember it was Christmas. That first season, in hindsight, was where we were consistent and did it, but we did not have a huge audience. And we were kind of working against the tide. I remember the TikTok had dorm_debate_. And I remember telling you, like, dude, we got to, while the handle's still available, we got to switch it, man.
Yeah.
And we were able to do it, thankfully, because we had posted a couple with the underscores.
Yeah.
Because
wow, I didn't even know.
that's how like we started to know because that led into that first season. By the end of it, we got 10K on like the day before the goal, like Christmas or something. It was like what a Christmas.
Literally
Yeah.
Christmas Eve at like
Christmas
10
Eve we
PM,
hit
got
10K, and
10K.
that to see we were on. I think we called like to see the K.
Yeah,
see-
dude, that was amazing.
But that first season was such a grind.
It was.
Learning the platform, staying consistent. I know Instagram. We experimented a lot too, both with the TikTok. Like we gave away a Madden copy a couple times and
Yeah, we had the
running
amount of
ads even.
giveaways we did.
Yeah, giveaways, all that stuff.
From where we grew from last season, like to this season, we've done so much. Like
Right.
I want to get before we finish like this off. Like I
Yeah.
want to get your guys' thoughts. Like where do you think we could be next season?
Oh.
Like
Next season. So where are we at currently? We're at about 156,000.
154K as of today.
154,000 on TikTok. We're around 2,400 on YouTube.
Yeah, and about the same on
about the same
Instagram.
on-
Around 2,000.
Yeah. Wow, it's crazy. I mean, like the first season we grew from 0 to 10K.
Yeah.
Then the second season we went from 10K to now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane amount.
That's not even fathomable. I can't think that in my head people like we post videos and like a million people could just see my face. It's like,
It's
what?
still like it's hard to, for me at least, it's hard to say what we'll be because even the fact that anyone listens to us on a regular basis,
Yeah.
that even though TikTok's are strongest and YouTube's growing, and even just to have seen the other day we talked about the podcast downloads going into doing pretty good numbers. blew me
Right.
away.
Yeah.
Anyone listening on
Yeah, shout out to the
Spotify,
listeners.
Apple Music,
Amazon, Alexa.
yeah,
I
Alexa,
mean, we get a kick out of
Alexa
that.
Media Player.
Whoever's
Yeah.
doing that,
Dude, literally, I mean, like, cause
But for real, that's like
there's no video. You're literally just in the room listening to it.
That's-
Like,
That
there's a
anyone would
possibility.
wanna hear us.
There's a possibility that someone says Amazon, like Alexa, turn on Dorm Debate's newest episode while they like make dinner.
And
like
that-
what?
and now it's
Wait,
playing.
what?
Yeah.
What?
Well, even comments that like while I was training for basketball, I was just listening to you
Yeah,
guys.
literally
Like,
people comment on the YouTube videos and they're like, great podcast, like just listen to it, like so excited. Like,
or that one time
that
where like, I'll
sounds
give you,
amazing.
Yeah.
you would give keywords that if you've been listening this long, just type in.
Type
something.
Eckler at the
But
type
it's-
Eckler at the
to-
end of this video.
If we look back on it in a year, it's like it shows how we did it for ourselves, and then also how much we didn't expect anyone to listen all the way
Yeah.
through, or you know what I mean. Like, not that we don't appreciate it or don't give value, but we're just like, it's just crazy to think that anyone would listen to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
We're just four guys who love football and debate it. You know,
Yeah.
like, is anyone else gonna find this interesting? You know,
Right, like how it started, it wasn't like, oh, we're gonna entertain the masses.
Right.
Like we're gonna entertain. It was literally just
It
like,
came from an
we
organic.
need to
thing.
record this because John was wrong and Jonathan
Yeah.
said this and this.
Yeah.
It's like we need to record this, and it's like it wasn't.
It wasn't like
We
we're
had to
trying to be
kinda
influencers. We're not trying to like. It'd
we
be
kinda-
cool. I'm sure I wouldn't get the blue check mark. That'd be cool.
Wow.
That'd be a cool goal for I think.
It would,
I don't know if we would have to build the brand. I think more.
Yeah.
we had to change from season 1 to season 2. I remember you saying this. Like we had to change how we like went about the podcast because we couldn't just talk endlessly.
Yeah.
Like we actually
we
had
have
to
to
have
have
like
more of a purpose.
structure towards everything.
But still, like allow ourselves to disagree. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, weekly, we always say, all right, we got to make the podcast shorter. Like every week. What do we say, Jonathan? We're like, all right,
30 minutes.
No,
max.
30 minutes max.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guys, no, this
So-
one is gonna be under 30.
It has been-
right
oh
when
my
somebody
gosh.
says that, we're like, we're
Yeah.
going. This might be the longest.
Especially considering we record at night and I wake up at 5 to go to work. You know, 5
Yeah.
5 to start go to work at 6 to be at work at 6. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh! But it shows how it's the same thing at Global. We're like, all right, just one
We-
more
we
thought
gotta go to
before we go to
bed.
bed, and it was like 2 more hours, 3 more. We've improved.
Yeah.
Because it would literally go on for hours. But yeah, in a year, I can't imagine. You know, I just hope it, you know, the core of it. My thing is, I've always said this to you guys, but you don't necessarily want more followers. You want better ones. And I really like I think it'd be cool to interact more with the audience to get more takes. Like, I love the debate aspect that even if we're not at each other's throats or doing it in a way that feels fake, like some of the mainstream, like in shows you see where they kind of have to disagree with each other. It's never that, but I also feel like we, you know, even in the comments, people dish it to us when we have a bad take and we dish it back. But it's like in that sense of, so I'm always like, might not always be exponential the growth, but I'd
Yeah.
love to grow more. I like to aim high and rather miss, you know. But to interact, to have that community, I think to have guys who like football just like us, who have experience playing or just love watching. And like you don't have to be a former pro to talk about the game, you know.
Right.
Most people aren't. So like to be straight up, just like have that community of like amateurs, if you will, but people who are really passionate about like how literally that brought us together, and it still does. So
Right.
I hope that can spread to other people.
Yeah.
Kind of a broad answer. I'm a non-answer answer. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we've come a long way. I didn't take this too seriously. I thought it was just us having fun, right? I know Caleb and Jared, you guys, you know, you like to watch YouTube videos of different creators, right, who travel or do whatever. And, you know, I think after doing a lot of research in this at my job, I've told you guys the creator economy is a huge market. It's going to be worth billions in the next few years. And so the creators that are consistent and can, you know, consistently produce content for followers, right, and are creative, right, those are the ones that are going to be successful in the next few years, you know. And so I think now's a good time for people our age to just have fun,
Just go for it.
just go for it.
Take chances.
Exactly, because
Yeah, literally. If anybody's watching, like, and if you have gotten this far, like Jonathan said, like,
Yeah.
and you can create. I mean, it does take consistency.
Yeah.
But you never know when you post something. Some people could really enjoy what you're talking about. You know?
Yeah, I think what the best example is that the summer of 2021. Like we could have easily we got the 10K, but you know we stopped posting on TikTok. We could have just kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
And instead we're like, all right, let's start it up one more time. Let's
Yeah.
give it another go. And then with the second video, we have the fantasy profile picture,
Yeah.
1 million views.
Yeah.
So it's like we were 2 videos away. You ever see that? There's like a picture of like someone mining.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like they're like mining to diamonds, and the one guy like hits the diamonds, and the guy that's
Oh, yeah,
above
I've
he
seen
stopped
that.
right
Show
before.
the graphic
Yeah.
on the
And
video.
the other guy keeps going.
And it's like you never know like
literally
how
just
close
keep going.
you are.
Yeah, just keep going. Like put in the work, and you'll be able to do it.
Yeah, and that goes. It. I don't know. I feel part of this is because TikTok makes me feel old. You know.
Really,
We're
it
talking
makes me
like
feel
the-
young. That
we're
I
talking
can-
about, like,
that
the
I
beginning
create
of
on
TikTok.
I feel like the because so many of the we're talking about the creator economy. I mean, are you saying we're gonna be billionaires?
It's
Who
a
knows?
billionaire market. But
Yeah, but yeah, I'm saying like
I'm playing.
in the future, in a year from now, I think we're gonna be pretty far off in terms of followers because I'm grateful to work with a consistent group of friends like you guys.
Nice.
You know, and I enjoy doing it. If you enjoy
Yeah.
doing it, then it's easy to
Exactly.
be
Yeah.
consistent
If you
about it.
enjoy doing it, it doesn't feel like work. I don't know
Yeah.
about you guys, but like when I create dorm debate videos, or if I'm like, oh, I got to make this like fantasy video, or I got to like write my posters, it's not even like. It's actually fun. It's
fun,
not
yeah.
like, oh, I have to do this, or oh, I
It's
just
like
do
working
it.
out,
No,
like-
it's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to like write
Yeah,
these posters and see what
exactly.
It's
people
like working
say.
out sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Watch
video,
football
yeah.
game, I'll say, oh, I can't wait to analyze that.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't wait to hear what they'll say on the. Sometimes I watch a game, I'm like, I can't wait, because it's like working out where when you're in the moment, like sometimes it's like a stress, we take time out of our work schedules and sleep schedules
Oh my God, yeah.
to do this, and it's
Now
like,
we have jobs. So we're good.
now we have jobs, yeah. So, but like Tuesday nights, it's like I like doing it more than I like. I'd rather be a little tired on a Wednesday,
Yeah.
but having done this, but it's like working out. Like I'm sore, but I
Right.
feel stronger and just overall so much better. So
You just get better.
I think it's also that encouragement too, because there were definitely times where, not like we're gonna throw in the towel, but it's like you're just doing it, and it becomes I don't ever want it to become so vanilla or corporate or like so structured you have no freedom.
Yeah,
But you
monotonous.
need discipline, but there were times where it's like having one of those videos go viral or something to encourage it.
The good thing about
was big.
TikTok, like with the consistency and being a creator, is that you could have like you said, it won't get monotonous because like I could have a plan to be like, okay, I'll post my waiver video on Tuesday, but then maybe Wednesday we could post a trendy one. Like yeah, that's you have a rhythm in that you're gonna post a trendy video on Wednesday, but you have any freedom. Like creating content is like as much freedom as you can get.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's like I was mentioning before about feeling, you see people who are younger in the creator economy who's like in high school or, it's still in the teenager years and they're already like influencers and stuff.
Yeah.
But I also look back at our, the way how we're here now is like the equipment we have now was from us acquiring it from years of just doing YouTube on our own for our own fun. And then, some of the stuff I bought was just in the summer, like instead of other people who might buy clothing or go on trips. I mean, pandemic, can't really travel anywhere. But like investing in it and rather looking back, kind of going to that culture of we'd rather spend our youth and our time and money on trying to build something.
Right.
That even if there is no like that picture of the parallel diamonds, like even if you never get it, you'd rather, because there is even if I don't know what that looks like, you hope to always improve and get better and reach more people and give
Right.
people value. But like that's the bet we did, is like we'd rather risk it and give it our all and have it fail than to have never tried at all and then
Exactly.
wonder what could have been.
Right.
And it's just a different, and it's not like it's easy or financially, we were jobless for a
man.
while. It was a pandemic, but we still we just chose to do it.
You don't want to be 80 and then we call each other. Hey Jared, remember that time we thought about dorm debate?
Yeah.
We should have done
We
that.
should have went through
Oh,
with it.
thanks for letting me know I'm about to die. So I'm really happy now.
Thanks for reminding me of
Yeah,
what could have been.
yeah.
For real, it's like again, this goes to my mid-college crisis, but
Yep.
the idea, this is something Steve Jobs said that like kind of what led all of us to encourage each other, but something he said was like the idea is 10% of the work, because I think of this not even in dorm debate or anything, but like, oh, actually make this invention would make my life so much easier. And then like a year later you see it in the store.
Yeah.
And in so many fields the idea is 10%. 90% is making it happen, reaching people, because anyone can, just creativity is kind of people kind of similar patterns of thinking, but to actually do it, there's just a different mindset when you're the one creating it, doing the 90%.
And I think for us creatives, we have so many ideas.
Yeah,
And
it's hard to
good.
focus.
Yeah, it's good to have people like John and Jonathan who like just grind and do the work. And like you're an engineer, John, Jonathan, you work your ass off. So it's like have you two be like, let's just do it. But we have so many ideas
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
And
it's
then
like,
we like collectively agree on it and we do it. Like you guys
Yeah,
come
like,
up with
we
a lot
balance
of
each
ideas.
other out and we compliment. So
Yeah.
I'm really happy with Dorm Debate, the orange, all that. I love how unique it is, with the orange border and everything. Like,
oh my god,
we
But
decided-
spent so much on the little things.
yeah, but it's like, that's what I was saying is like those years of what we didn't know were foundational building led us to even now, like the fact that anyone listens to this, even one person who finds this interesting is like so mind blowing to me,
Yeah.
that we get to do this, have fun, get to stay together and connected with each other. And then now, like, I don't think a year ago in the pandemic we would have pictured going to a game and recording content there. And it'll blow my mind even more if even anyone recognizes us. Which I this is a time oriented. I know we didn't want to talk about time statistics, but like in a year, if anyone ever recognizes us, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think to go back to the what will be in a year. I think it's more like we'll grow. I think numbers wise, but I don't think we can ever set a set number to be like, all right, I'm happy, because I feel like it's always gonna keep growing, and I'll never be like satisfied. Yeah. But I think the one thing that I've stayed true to is when we first made it, I was like, I don't care about the followers, I don't care about like the views, but I was like, I care about the comments.
Right.
Like I want a lot of comments. When we first started, I was like, comments, because I want to interact with everyone.
Right.
And like I feel like one of the main reasons why I like Dorm Debate and like just sports in general is you could go up to literally any random person, and if they know sports, like what Jonathan and I did, if they know sports, it's like,
you don't
oh
even
my
have
god,
to,
whole
you don't
world
even have
opens
to
up.
know their name. You can literally just be like, did you see the game last night? And you could just say the game, and everybody knows which game you're talking about. Like, that's the best.
Which one, any of them.
Yeah.
The Office.
It just allows us to like connect with people in a way that we wouldn't be talking with them if that was the case. But a lot of times, like for me, I didn't none of my friends back home watched football.
Neither did mine.
Right. So coming to here and you guys were all watching NFL, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then I started watching it more because that was all we did was just watch football.
Yeah.
But it's like we bonded over that. And then to go and see these kids and they all like football, and maybe they don't have friends that have the same interests.
Right.
It's like, oh, they can come to Dorm Debate and hang out with us.
Right.
Because we're literally just 4 friends. We're not like corporate NFL Network type
Not
thing.
former players, which is
not
like
former players. We're like
disadvantages,
relatable.
but
And it's Dorm. It's like we're young, just like everybody else. Like,
Yeah, and it's not like we have like a company behind us and like we're making this show for the money. It's like we literally
we've probably lost money doing Dorm Debate.
dude, the first
still negative.
I'm still negative.
bro, the first season didn't make a single dollar, but we did 2 Madden giveaways. We did a jersey giveaway. We made stickers to give away out to people.
Advertising too.
Paid for ads and stuff. So we definitely lost money.
Yeah,
And then to see 1 year later, now we're able to like this Airbnb was paid for from TikTok.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like that is just mind blowing to me that we were able to create content and it paid for us to go to a trip. So
crazy.
I think in the future, I think it's more people interacting with us more for our personalities and less about the fantasy and for like the sports. But like, oh, I want to go hang out with them.
Right.
Like I don't care about what they're talking about, but let's just like hang out with them.
Yeah,
on the
hopefully
podcast.
if the world, if we really, crazy thought, if we went from different stadiums and got to interact with fans, or like even in the first season, I think Jonathan, people were pretty passionate. You'd get into it in the comments, but like it was playful, but y'all wouldn't mince words either. So I love that.
That's what's
community
great about
though.
it. I love it.
It's not toxic, but it's like you're wrong about this.
We've built such a good, like, I agree with Jared, and like a year from now, I can't say, like, we did grow from 10 to 155K now. I can't say that we're going to be at like 300K, like double, but I'm not going to put a number to it, but I think like growing that culture that we have and the community that we have is just the most important thing.
Exactly.
Well, let me put a number to it. 155K from 10K, that's about 15.5x, right?
Okay.
So let's say we have 155K in a year.
Oh no.
All right, that's gonna be
2.4 million.
2.4 million.
Okay.
I honestly,
Okay, I
if
know,
by the end of next season, if we got to 300K, I'd be surprised.
I'll make a contract. All right.
Yeah, put that on a contract if you really think that.
I like you putting a number on it because we've been kind of beating around the bush. No, that's the number. Okay, but
2.4 million.
This goes into like we'd rather.
That's insane.
It's the same thing of when we hit 10K. It's like It's like we grew by never focusing on growth.
Yeah, we literally.
So we have numbers.
We
that
had
we're
the
like,
right mindset the whole time.
Like, it'd be
it's like,
crazy
it's
to have
not
a
about
K.
a number.
Yeah.
I remember it would be crazy to have a K next to our follower count. Like that was just such a big thing.
Yeah.
And to have an M would be, I can't wrap my head around it. But then it seems like we're saying this to be like, oh, we're on the way, and we're just gonna like cut back to this. It's like I cannot see that happening.
No.
In a way that's like that's not why we do it. It's like we have number goals,
Yeah.
just because it's not good to not have goals. But it's like there's a quote by Mark Twain. I think it's by Mark Twain. It's like, why not go out on a limb, because that's where the fruit is. It's
Yeah.
like there's a chance the branch breaks, but it's like you can play it safe. We'd rather say a number
And
miss
if you set a goal, then it motivates you to go and reach it.
Yeah,
right?
even if we don't reach it, it's better than having like what 1,000 more than we are now.
Shoot for the moon. If you miss, you'll
You
land
land
on the
on
moon.
Yes.
Sunners. Yeah.
So,
Okay, so to wrap up this very long podcast, probably the longest one we've ever had.
What about the last one?
Yeah, we broke that record for sure.
We're breaking records every week.
wow,
broke that
yeah,
record.
those metrics, man.
We have to wake up the audience. I guess we would just wrap it up and say thanks and where we're at right now, we're at East Rutherford because of them.
Yeah.
We're
But
literally
really,
going to a game.
If you guys are listening at this point still, like, obviously we're here because of you guys. Like, we have fun doing it for us, but like without you guys here, you guys motivate us to be better. Like every time somebody comments, every time we see another like on our post, like that means a lot to us and it motivates us to put out more posts. So thank you all for your support.
Yeah, like we'd love to get more of our personalities, but also to bring out more of yours. Like it's really all possible because people listen to us, because there's so much value in just all we do is for the audience. Like for
Right.
people who dare like listen to us. It just blows my mind all the time. So thank you if you listen this far, or in general just follow Dorm Debate on any of the platforms. It just means the world that we thought of it and wanted it, and then we can share that joy of multiplication with other people. It's really great.
Yeah, I feel like this friend group has like grown from like 4 to like 150,000.
Yeah, really.
That's really how it is, because we would get DMs all the time, and it's like, oh, I love the podcast and blah blah blah, or they start talking about fantasy football or whatever, and it's like it feels like they're like one of our friends.
Yeah, really.
Especially since we were all remote for so long, because it's the first time we've seen each other in a year or 2 years or whatever. So it's like, it feels like I'm just talking to like another friend. Like our just
Right.
friend group has just grown so much.
Right.
But yeah, I guess thanks for watching the podcast. Thanks for listening and following on TikTok and whatever. What?
Do you want to
You're
give
like-
like okay, because it seems like we're gonna close it, but do you want to give a word maybe if someone has listened this far that?
Oh,
That's why I was
okay.
like, if anyone else was thinking that,
Okay.
what would be
word.
a good keyword? That's
All right, I have a good one. Galladay. If you
why?
How come Galladay?
Because I think Galladay will have 2 touchdowns. I think not only get 2, he'll get his first receiving touchdown as a Giant tomorrow. It'd be literally tomorrow.
Yeah.
For when we're recording this. 'Cause-
And we posted.
all right,
like, a
so, if
So-
you listen this far, comment
Let's
Galladay.
hope I'm right.
Even because they'll see this after the game, so
They'll see it after the game, so they'll know if
they'll
I'm right
know
or
if you're
not.
right. But that way we know how.
But
many
there's
people
no
heard
way
your take.
randomly when I post this that someone's gonna be like Galladay. Just one word, Galladay.
Yeah, I think there might be. We'll see.
That's
What
the-
could
that's
they
the
possibly
truth.
say? There's literally nothing they could possibly
Like
say.
imagine if he doesn't and someone still listens all the way and comments Galladay. It's like wow. Like
Yeah.
Hey, I echo with all, what all these guys are saying. I enjoy listening to all the unique perspectives in terms of what teams you guys like. I'm like debating. It's all that's all. No hard feelings, right? But yeah. Jared,
Yeah,
go
you
ahead.
get it in the
course.
comments. I love. Yeah, if you want to treat anyone, just see some of Jonathan's threads.
Respectful threats.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to say one more thing, like about my lives on Sunday. Like, thank you guys always for joining those. Like, that
Yeah,
means
those
a
are
lot.
big.
Like, I literally make those posters before the game for you guys, and I love making them because I can't wait to put them up and start the live, and you guys to start chatting and be like, hey, what's up? Like, good morning or whatever, and then go to see my posters and just I love to see your reactions about my weekly picks and must sits, and every single person, every single like on that live, I really appreciate.
100%. So, remember to follow us on.
Yeah, follow us on TikTok and on Instagram at Dorm Debate Podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Comment down below Galladay if you made it this far. And yeah, we will see you guys in the next one. Thanks, guys.